What is going on, you guys? A21 Mayo here, and today we are going to be going over the most asked question in Siege. How can you find people to play with? I'll be showing you guys places where you can find other players and how you can go about adding them, what you should look for in teammates, and what are some red flags for players, so that way you don't waste your time trying to find good people to play with. With all of that being said, let's jump into the video. The very first place I suggest you to start looking for people to play with is the R6 Community Discord. It's a Discord with over 500,000 people in it, with players all the way from Copper to Champion. I highly suggest you start looking there if you have not looked already. You can join the Discord, get some basic roles, and start your way looking for some people to play with. I'll have it linked in the description below. The next place to look for players is in my Discord. I have a dedicated chat room with active users in there each and every day looking for people to play with on both PC and console. Plus, it's a much closer community, so the chances of finding someone are very high. That will also be linked in my description. The two next places you can find people to play with are my Twitch chat or YouTube comment section. I have seen numerous messages every day while I'm streaming where people are looking for other people to hit the ranked lobbies with them. You can also do the same thing in other content creators' Twitch chats and comment sections if they allow it. The next place you can find someone is by simply networking whenever you play. If you're someone who has a consistent 1 or 2 people you play with every time you play, there's the chance that they will be getting invited to other people's lobbies as well. If you ever get the invite to a stack with more people than you're used to, and there are some new players in there, then you send them a friend request after you guys are done playing. Networking through friends you already have is similar to those videos where someone starts off with an object like a pen and slowly trades items until they reach their goal of whatever item it is they're trying to trade for. Think of the people you already play with as this pen, and the 5 stack as the item you want to reach. The last method you can use to find people to stack with is simply solo queuing in your rank. If you find someone you like, then send them a friend request or ask them if they want to play together next game. It's really that simple. Before we continue on with the video, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys could take 2 seconds of your time, scroll down and click the like button. If you get any value from this video, a simple click of the like button will push the video into the YouTube algorithm, so that way a larger audience can see my content. Also, I will be starting a podcast with both content creators Shock and Vexian, and it will be premiering this Friday, the 8th. Follow my Twitter for updates and more details. Now that I've explained where some of the best places to find a stack is, let's go over some of the qualities you should look for in players, so that way you don't make a bad decision and start playing with someone who is toxic but you didn't notice at first. When I first started playing this game, it was just me and my best friend Jacob. We would non-stop grind this game for hours each day. Over time, duo queuing in Silver Elo, we slowly found people that we liked by just having basic communication throughout every game we played. Over time, we slowly added people and networked our way up through the lobbies and ranks. The reason I'm saying this is because people overcomplicate finding other players to play with. It's just as simple as having a microphone and basic comms with your teammates. And whether you win or lose, if you like someone on your team or even the enemy team, it can't hurt to ask or send a friend request. The most important thing through this process is that you communicate and give good calls every game. Communication throughout a game will show your teammates that you actually want to win, and if someone else on your team wants to win just as bad or even more than you, they will notice that and most likely be more open to adding you as a friend and playing with you again. The last thing I want to go over is the qualities you should look for in players whenever you find someone you like. Starting this off, let's go over bad qualities in players that should be a red flag not to play with them again. If you notice or experience reoccurring negativity from someone, then it's usually your best bet not to play with them again. Or if someone constantly complains before giving the call out, that is another example of someone not worth playing with. Another negative trait to look out for is if you suggest something to someone in the game and they instantly shut your idea down. This is similar to what I've been saying about someone not wanting to communicate but in a different light. If you play with or meet someone like this, it means that they think they know what they're doing, but they actually don't, or they know they made a mistake, but they don't want to admit it. It's important to surround yourself with other people who have similar goals and ambitions as you. By doing this, it will not only make you want to work harder and get better faster at Siege, but also this means that when you make a mistake, someone else will help you get back on the right track and help you learn what you could have done differently during a round. The people who don't like it when someone else is right as to how they could have played around differently will do nothing but bring you down and lower your expectations of yourself as a player, but also as a human. If you take anything away from this video, this is the most important part, not only in Siege, but in life. This point in the video should be a basic principle that you should implement into your everyday life. The last quality is someone who doesn't listen or give callouts during a game. This shows they don't want to win because they're choosing not to communicate. Now, depending on how desperate you are to find people to play with, you may have to sacrifice some of these things until you find better people to play with. I leave it up to you to use your judgment to figure out if someone is worth playing with. These are more or less examples or an outline for some things that should stand out if you're playing with someone like this. Now that I've talked about some negative qualities you should look for in players, let's talk about some things that should stand out to you in a positive light. For example, if someone has good communication, this shows that they want to win the rank game. In 2016, LinkedIn hosted a survey and 57.9% of people said communication is the most important thing in a workplace. Now, I understand playing Siege isn't a workplace, but it just goes to show how important having good comms are and how it can set you up for success. I'll have 2 different articles linked in the description. The next thing is find people who don't complain or rarely complain. If you find someone who falls under this example, this shows a trait where the player is willing to learn from their mistakes, as someone who complains constantly does it out of pity for themselves because they are too ignorant to accept that they made a mistake. Another great quality to look for in a player is what kind of roles/operators they like to play during a game. By doing this, it's a great way to make sure you're both not trying to always pick an operator like Zofia. If they, for example, like to play operators like Capitao, Nomad, or IQ, and you like to play operators like Ash, Zofia, and Sledge, then it's even better because you won't have conflicting operator picks. Also, by doing this, it means that both of you will have more experience playing these kinds of operators and roles since you have the most amount of time with them, pretty much setting you and your team up for more success. Now, just because this is something I go over doesn't mean that if you and someone else in the stack always want to play the same operator, that you should stop playing with that person. You shouldn't stop playing with someone just because you want to play the same op as they do. It's just a rule to follow since there won't be conflicts during a game, and you both can have fun playing your respected operators. The last and final quality I want to go over is how well you vibe with someone. If the vibes are immaculate and you and the other person match very well, then run with it. Having good vibes and a good time while playing will instantly increase your chances of winning your next game simply because it's a less stressed environment, instead of someone screeching in their mic every second. Having good vibes will just make everything easier and more free-flowing since the match isn't so tense. Now, that is going to wrap up today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you can have a large impact in the video success and how far it can be pushed into the algorithm so that way more people can see my content. Again, Shock Vexian and I are starting up a podcast on the 8th of January, so if you're interested, make sure to follow me on Twitter for more information and the time we will be going live. And with all of that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, I hope you learned something new, and I will see you guys in the next video.